listening to Higher Self Wellness. This is Alec Hurley. Welcome back to the show. If you are new, then a big warm welcome. I hope you're all doing well, and I just want to say thank you all for sharing this podcast, for leaving reviews. And if you haven't had the time to do so yet, and you find that opportunity to be now, I invite you to do so. It's a way that you can support this show, and it just shows that it's helping. So thank you. And let's see here. What else is up? Well, today I just wanted to come to talk about a little bit about health, physical health, and the season, the fall. Here we are. And so what I've really been thinking about is that your physical health is the single best investment that you can be making. So why do I believe so? Well, if we consistently invest in our health, then this consistent investment is enhancing the quality of life. And I believe this because if we don't take care of our bodies, then nothing else is really going to work, right? We need a strong, solid home for our mind and for our spirit to live in. And if we take care of our bodies with nice physical exercise and eating in balance and eating in rhythm and harmony with the seasons, then we can support ourselves. But it comes back to each action that we make can be one small investment in that long-term bank account of physical health, vitality, feeling good, feeling balanced, feeling energized. And again, this is just the process of building a good, solid, and healthy home for our mind and for our spirit. So, how can we eat in balance? How can we eat to create balance within the fall? And so what I want to do is invite in a question, like I do in a lot of these episodes, is just to presence, how is your health currently? What would you rate the state of your health at? Just to become aware of it. And specifically, I want to look at digestive health. And then looking at, okay, well, now that I know what I'm experiencing, how is my digestion? What is it that got me here? What is it about my lifestyle and my choices that have shaped this current state of reality that I'm experiencing with my digestion? And so I'll speak for myself. Currently my digestive health is in pretty good shape because it's something that I consistently come back to daily. I'm very aware of what works and what doesn't work with my body based on years now of experimenting. However, it wasn't always like that. When I was managing kitchens, I was, working between 10 and 14-hour shifts and constantly snacking in between. I was experiencing a lot of bloating, a lot of just discomfort in my guts, a lot of irregularity, and a lot of inflammation. And that was one of the biggest things that I've noticed since I've started paying attention to stuff, is that my body is just less inflamed. And there's a lot of reasons behind that, but one of the most considerable reasons, I believe, is that I really dropped a lot of these processed foods, which contain a lot of really rancid ingredients that just keep them to be shelf stable. And most importantly, I eliminate a lot of really unhealthy fats. I really believe that fats are very healthy. Not overdoing it, not underdoing it, but in excess with all these processed foods, they have really bad fats in them. And I think that was one of the culprits that was really, destructive on my digestive system, because there was no, I wasn't putting any good microbes back in my body. All I was doing was introducing these highly processed and refined oils and ingredients that doesn't really sustain life, which is why they're so shelf stable, because they don't die, because there's nothing living within them. So when I did begin to, or when I did begin to shift and evolve, like what I was eating and how I was eating, and most importantly, when I was eating, that's when things began to turn around, and I noticed immediate changes in my physiology, which then helped, because my physiology is the home for my mind and my spirit. I noticed, wow, this is just a little bit easier, and all the brain fog that I was experiencing began to, I guess, get burned through with the activation of my digestive system. And a lot of these stored toxins in the inflammation, that like puffiness that I was experiencing, were just getting burned up and released. So eating in rhythm with the seasons, like eating to create balance within the body, and eating so we can build a good home for our mind and our spirit to live in. So for me, it was just understanding my digestion. And it's crazy the amount of digestive diseases and like disorders that people experience nowadays. Like I'm looking at a stat right here. There's 60 to 70 million people are affected by all digestive diseases. And that's just in this country, in the United States of America. Ambulatory care visits in 2010 was 48.3 million from a digestive disease. That's insane. That's crazy. 21.7 million in hospitalizations. There was 245,921 deaths in 2009 from digestive diseases. So like this stuff is crazy. This is super important. And when we really learn how to take care of our own body, then we don't, like a lot of this stuff is preventable. Like when we learn how to really nourish ourselves and eat in rhythm and kind of go against the grain of all these cultural influences that are just all around us, of like trying to get us to eat this and do that. And oh man, that's a crazy rabbit hole to go down. But like there's so many of these what is the word I'm looking for? Well, digestive like disease and disorders that we can experience, whether it's like constipation or the gastroesophageal reflux disease, inflammatory bowel disease, like irritable bowel disease, liver and gallbladder congestion. There's just so much from not paying attention to really not being aware of what got you here to this current state of digestive health. So that's why it's important to ask these questions of like, how is your current health? And what are the lifestyle choices? What are those small actions that you've been taking every day that are slowly shaping and drawing you into this experience that you're now in? So it's not all doom and gloom. I really believe that, from my own experience, I have taken control of my health. And it's been through this process of learning what's going on. That is, identifying the problem, knowing how I got myself there, and then making new choices to move into a different direction. And so I have a few tips that I want to share here, things that I practice myself, because I don't share anything in here that I'm not practicing myself, just to begin to enhance the digestive system. So how do we do that? Well, the way that I've been doing it is by consuming an earlier and lighter dinner. And this is by giving the digestive system a break from the time that you eat dinner until you break your fast the next morning at whatever time that is. And I choose to give myself between 12 to 15 hours from when I eat my earlier and lighter supper until I eat breakfast the next day. And when I started doing this was like the ultimate game changer for me to be experiencing like just digestive health and ease and consistency and regularity with elimination and all that stuff. And so, again, it's so simple. So think of how you felt when you eat like a really heavy and late dinner. This is just going to affect our whole experience, how we feel when we wake up the next day. Because when we sleep, like, our body needs to be doing a lot of other things. And if we put a lot of pressure on our body to be breaking down a really heavy and dense meal at the end of the night, like, well, our body is going to have less energy to do the other things that it needs to do. And so it really began for me with eating an earlier and lighter dinner. And a lot of the days now, this looks like a one-pot meal, like a soup or something cooked and with a lot of like liquid in there and a lot of plant foods. And depending on how active I've been that day, like maybe a small portion of animal protein, some fish, something along those lines. But again, it's understanding that I'm not overdoing it in the evening time, but I'm still meeting like my needs for fuel and for rebuilding my body. But as long as I take it easy in the evening time and don't make it too heavy and make it on the lighter side, and especially on the earlier side, giving myself like 3 to 4 hours between supper until I go to bed, I just feel so much better. So another thing is eating seasonally and really introducing some seasonal veggies and fruits into the diet. And this has a lot to do actually with the gut microbes and our microbiome, and ultimately on our immune system and how well our immune system is going to work. And if we introduce these seasonal plants, like there's specific microbes that pop up, it's really interesting stuff to read about. If you're interested in doing that, I'll put a link in here for Dr. John Douillard. He's this Ayurvedic doctor out in Colorado, and he talks a lot about how the microbes and eating the seasonal veggies like really just attune our microbiome. And especially if we do this in rhythm with the seasons, we can enhance our immune system by bringing in the specific microbes that are here during this specific time of the year. And so it just makes sense. It's like coming back to these basics of like, okay, yeah, eating earlier. This is how our ancestors ate. Eating earlier, eating lighter, and then eating seasonally. But I want to share just 2 more as well, things that I've been able to bring into my kind of lifestyle that's really helped lower a lot of the inflammation that I was experiencing and has really helped my physiology just feel better, helped with my energy and burn through all that brain fog, was just eating less processed foods. And why is that important? Well, most of these foods, like I stated earlier, they contain a lot of things that really disrupt our metabolism, and over time that will it's going to congest our organs, especially like the liver and the gallbladder. It's going to congest those, so we're not able to break down the foods as well as we should be able to. And a lot of this is because of the bad fats that are in these processed foods, but also because of the residues of the sprayed chemicals that they are grown with. And when these build up in our body, this builds up in our organs and in all the other systems and can cause a lot of inflammation and a whole bunch of other stuff. But this prevents a lot of the gut bugs, specifically the chemicals that these processed foods are sprayed with and have residues in. This kills off the microbiome within our body. And this will disrupt our immune system. And think of the long-term effects of that on your health, of like processed foods. And there's even a lot of processed foods out there that are packaged and sold as healthy, like healthy alternatives. But I really believe that we can have those in moderation. But the majority of the things that we nourish ourselves with and rebuild our physiology with should be these seasonal plant foods that introduce the microbes that really help our immune system and that feed us the nutrients, the micronutrients, and all the phytochemicals and antioxidants to stay healthy. And again, allows our body to work in harmony. So coming back to the question of like, how is your health right now, specifically your digestive health, and what are the choices that you can notice that have gotten you here? So what is that current state of health? What is it that brought you here? And then how can you begin to build a better home for your mind, for your spirit? Like, how can you begin to build better physiology? Maybe it's just making a couple of small choices now of like, okay, well, I'm just going to eat a couple of less processed and packaged foods. But getting curious, because like anything is really possible. You can go online and see so many articles and all of these things about how just these small little choices that we make really have long-term effects on our health. And that's why I really believe that health is the single best investment that we can make for ourselves, because it's each of these choices that we make every day that is one small investment in that bank account of physical health. And if we have a strong bank account of physical health, then our mind and our spirit is going to have a nice solid home to live in. It'll feel comfortable, it'll feel at ease, and this just makes life a little bit easier. This is the basis for experiencing life. And if we can enhance and upgrade our physiology, we are going to enhance all the other facets, all the other elements of our life. So, here we go. It's fall. I want to offer as well here, because I know this is a lot. Like, it was definitely a lot for me. It took me a few years to begin to make these shifts. And over the past, well, it's probably like 6 years now. Yeah, it was about 6 years ago that I really began to like make these small changes. And it takes time. And it's good to have support. It's good to have a community. It's good to have people who are on a similar path, who know what you're experiencing, who have been through there. And so I want to offer a free wellness strategy session. If you want to click, you can click the link in the show notes and schedule that with me if you just want to talk about like how can you begin to adopt or shift your dinner time back a little bit earlier? How can you adopt some more plant foods into your diet or whatever it is? Just, I want to connect with you if you have any questions at all. So you can do so by signing up, clicking the link in the notes, or heading over to the website, www.highyourself.yoga. You can scroll all the way down and click the button that says schedule or book an appointment. And it's free. Just click on it and do it. And I also want to, I got a couple other things here to share as well. So I just did a couple week detox myself, and that was really profound with the amount of just stuff that came up within my mind and also the stuff that came out of my body, without getting too much into the details. But just imagine, like, we hold on to so much stuff subtly and also like densely physically within our body. And so I'm going to do another one of these, and this is a 2-week series of workshops and meditations. We meet live, and I'm going to begin this on Monday, October 22nd. And so you can sign up for this. This is free as well. This will be a group interaction. It'll be guided by myself with kind of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, why it works, and some meditation practices to set some intentions about what it is that you need to change and evolve, and how you can start doing that. So I'll also have it opened up for Q&A if you have any questions about what's going on. And this is really good because this just helps set ourselves up for a more easeful and healthier holiday season, because that's just coming up around the corner too, and like there's a lot that goes on. So if we can really activate our digestive system now before that begins, if we can enhance our immune system, then we're just going to make it through the holiday season with a little more grace, a little more ease. And so also coming up in the month of October, I have a healthy holiday cooking webinar that I'm going to be doing. This is also free. You can sign up for that with the link in the show notes. And this is going to be, there's going to be a couple things I'm going to talk about in this one. And this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be how I have shifted around my behaviors around the holiday season to prevent bloating, because that was a big thing that I would experience. After the heavy dinners, I'd just be like lying around on the floor and just blowing up like a balloon, and then the balloon would be deflating, and I mean, I'll let your imagination take it from there, but it's going to be how I have designed and how I prevent myself from experiencing this holiday bloating. And it'll be a lot about digestive enhancing herbs and spices and how I include those into my diet. It's also going to include which ingredients to avoid and how to replace those with healthier alternatives. And I'm also going to share my favorite high vibe holiday dessert recipe. It's going to be nice and easy to do without the sugar crash. And again, all excellent quality ingredients, because if we can choose high quality ingredients, then that's what we're choosing for fuel for our body. So high quality fuel gives us a high quality life. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope this inspires you to begin to take action. And if so, again, you can sign up for that free workshop with me, or sign up for the webinar coming up, or even the free seasonal detox with me. So most importantly, thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. So take care and have a great rest of your day.